All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing on this Friday, January the 24th, 2020? Welcome to another episode of Music of Destruction right here on YouTube. Tonight, I have another band interview for you guys. I'm very excited for this one. Tonight, we have Gale Cartwright from Shadows of Death Records with us once again. And we have the most recent band that he just signed on his trip to the Philippines. We are here with Sagrado, and I'm very excited to talk to these young men tonight about some of the stuff they've been working on with their previous record with Bastardized by the Decrepit Whorebeast, and what some of their plans are for this future upcoming album that's going to be released on Shadows of Death Records. So we have Stephen here tonight, who's the vocalist of Sagrado. We've got Jay Gonzalez, who is one of the guitarists, and we have the only original member who is the founder of the band, Jin, who is also the guitarist. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good,
bro.
Doing awesome. Thank you for having us here, by the way.
Of course. You guys are very welcome. I was really excited about your Bastardized by the Decrepit Whorebeast album. The only thing, I had some critiques about it and stuff, but I think you guys have a lot of talent that really could be expanded upon, and I think you guys have a very bright future as metal artists if you keep going and evolving and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with on this upcoming album. I know Gale's production is going to make it sound absolutely incredible. He really knows what he's doing when it comes to producing. I'm very excited for that for you guys. Now, the first question I have, and this is after Gale and I did some corresponding about his trip to the Philippines, meeting you guys and the experience over there. What is the metal scene really like in the Philippines as far as bands supporting each other and things like that? What's your experience been like?
Well, with regard to the metal scene here, I think we are kind of divided because since Facebook is already launched, back in the day we have one metal event with different kinds of genres of metal. But now, since social media is evolving, so we have a separate community. For example, for brutal death metal, so there is a specific gig that you can go or attend.
Okay.
So I think it's evolving.
How about you, Jay? Or go ahead, Gale.
Yep.
Oh, I think what Chris is referring to is the metal scene compared to like Indonesia, United States, Canada, Mexico. That's what Chris is referring to.
Oh, sure. So technically, the metal scene here in the Philippines is pretty much, should they say, subjective. Well, given that we're on a third world country, and for you to play metal here, it's really a struggle considering not all people would give a fuck to what you do, and that's the most honest thing that we have here. So if you play in a metal band, you got to make sure that you have the gears, you have the dough, and you need to make sacrifices as well. And in order for you to fulfill your passion, and as for the metal scene here, as compared to different countries, I think that the struggle will still be the same, or should I say, playing metal is a passion. So no matter how hard it gets, if you really want to play it, you'll find a way. And yeah.
Awesome.
But I think you guys can do some things to change that. I mean, if you guys start becoming more of a community and not be so divided amongst each other, that way you guys can force the hand. That's what we did. I mean, all of us went through it in the United States, So you guys can do the same thing what we did, what Indonesia did to create that. That's what you guys got to do. You guys got to unify and, not be so separate. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, there are some efforts. Yeah.
Yeah, there is some efforts. I mean, you got people like DGen that, works her butt off trying to make this happen. But you guys gotta figure out a way to evolve it more, and also bring in your city mayor and explain to them what the scene's about, and explain to them, hey, you know what, whatever you may think, it's actually the opposite. It's just a way
Right.
for us to release our energy. You know,
I'm really interested to hear from Jin's point of view on what we just discussed in that question because he's the original founding member,
The
uh,
OG.
the OG Sagrado. And so, Jin, how difficult has it been to get Sagrado established? Now, you started off, you were on 3 different labels, but what was it like getting bastardized by the Decrepit Horbies to the label in Spain? I mean, what kind of difficulties did you face doing that?
All right. Regarding with the master days by the with Warbies, when it comes to recording, we travel so far.
Are you
We're
still
not.
there?
Sorry for the so choppy, man.
No, I asked you what has been the experience after getting that record. Because you were on, I don't know what the name of the first label was for your first EP, but the Bastardized by the Decrepit Corbeast, you moved to, I can't remember the name of the label. What's the name of the
First one
label?
is Morbid.
No,
Can you?
So the
the
name of the label is Morbid Generation Records,
that's the
and
first one. And then
yeah,
the Bastardized by the Decrepit Horbeast was on, I can't remember the name of the label now.
it will be Pathological Explicit
Explicit
Records.
recordings, yes,
Yeah.
pathologically explicit recordings. So making that shift from the first record to that one, was there difficulty in transitioning Jin from one label to another, or was it pretty easy for you to do that? Given the scene, what the scene's like in the Philippines and things like that, would you say it was difficult to get another label to produce that record, or was it easy than you with the first label?
Jin.
Stephen is the one who talks to the labels, so I think he's going to answer for that.
Well, when it regards to transferring from another label, yeah, there's like an adjustment
Right.
because way back from the first one, yeah, the recording, all that we done, but so
Right.
far that is my favorite record, like the first album, because you can see a lot of difference to the second. So regarding to the adjustment, yeah, because way back before when we record to the first album, so the production is like an old school record,
Right.
and when we transfer to the second, which is Pathological Explicit Records, so we learned a lot, especially for the modern recording days. So that is why the when you heard about the differences, there is a lot of happening on the second because it's way too fast rather than from the old one.
Okay. What's the name of the first record again?
The first record is from Morbid Generation Records, and the album is called Mass Sufferings of a Human Being.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard that one yet. I've only heard your second record that was released in 2015,
Hmm.
Pathologically Explicit Recordings, which was a pretty decent record in my opinion. Um, Now, how have you been able to deal with the jealousy that erupts over there when a band gets signed over another band? So, in your case, for example, getting signed to Shadows of Death Records has created some controversy from what me and Gale were talking
Hmm.
about. How have you been able to deal with that?
Well, of course, you need to be neutral, and you need to hear what both sides do. But of course, if you know the truth, yeah, you need to keep him like you need to keep yourself on, in the secret because you might get involved, and then it will be like a fabricated issue. So to avoid any jealousy, so we try to be neutral as much as possible.
Okay.
So technically, I'm a new member of the band.
Right.
Been with the band
And when did you join? Tell
about
everybody when
17.
you joined. When did you join Sagrado?
I think it was long overdue, Stephen. Like 2016, we've been talking about some opening
Okay.
or accent duties since Jing actually needs some help with the guitar layers and all. More of like duties about fattening the sound and thickening the sound. So on the first two albums, I'm s- I was not there. I'm still not included. It was all Jin,
Okay.
and yep. On this album, though, Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead, under Shadows of Death Records, what
Abysmal
we're
Slaughter.
actually,
What's it called? Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead.
yep, Abysmal
Cool.
Slaughter of the Dead, yep,
Cool.
in
Okay.
the works, yep.
Okay. Good.
So, as much as for me as for a new member of the band, I'm trying to incorporate different styles because I mainly play sludge, like uh, Electric Wizard,
I love sludge.
Dope Throne, all that
Me
Yeah.
stuff.
too.
Yeah, man.
So if you
Acid.
come, awesome.
Yeah.
If you come
Acid bath
think of
is
it
great.
though,
Yeah.
yep, sure, sure. If you come think of it, Sagrado has its own style of playing fast-paced assault, in your face, brutal assault, all that stuff. And what we're doing right now is somehow we're trying to tame that one, and we're trying to fuse some other little segments of musical styles, but still the Sagrado sound will still be there.
Okay.
It will still be Sagrado. But what we're actually focusing into is trying to make sure that it wouldn't sound the same as the last album. And I think that Steven and the others made sure of that one as well, transitioning from Mass Sufferings to Bastardize.
Right.
Yeah, you can clearly hear the difference
Okay.
between the two albums if you dug into it.
Okay, so you guys distanced yourself from the Slam label, which I definitely agree with. I don't think you really have that much of a Slam influence. Why did Slam Worldwide pick you guys up for promoting you for with Bastardized by the Decrepit Whorebeast? How did that happen?
Oh, yeah. I think I can answer that one because when Slam Worldwide is starting, so apparently on that time our album was new released,
Right.
and yeah, back in the day, as far as I remembered, there are only few followers of Slam Worldwide, and he tried to contact me first about an approval. And then, of course, as a standard procedure, I need to confirm it to the label if they can upload the tracks.
Yeah.
In that way, there will be no miscommunication because there's a
No.
hierarchy. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean the label has to give YouTube permission to put your music on there, and no matter what YouTube channel is promoting it. So absolutely, yes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, and fast forward, I'm amazed with Slam Worldwide today because I think for every hours or so, there's a lot of bands uploaded to the YouTube, and there's um, around more than 125 or followers
Right.
he had in the
Yeah,
YouTube
they got
channel.
they he's got 100,000 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It just goes and goes.
Yeah. Jay, can you do me a favor when you're talking, move closer to your microphone so everyone can hear
Oh, sure.
you? Because I don't want
Okay.
people to get mad at me and say, "Oh, well, your editing
The
sucks.
audio.
There's nothing I can do about your audio,"
Sure,
right?
sure.
So, yeah, okay. But I don't hear that much slam in your music because what I'm hearing is more of like of a sludgy groove brutal death metal. I don't really hear that cookie cutter slam stuff in your music. And when Gale first told me about you guys, I was a little bit hesitant because slam's not a genre that I particularly enjoy. But after giving that record a chance, I was fucking amazed by not only the technical prowess of the album, but just the fact that the ideas you guys were kind of playing around with on that record, but I feel you didn't really get to expand upon because there were a lot of nuances on that album that I felt were venturing into different territories. And I'm really
mhm.
looking forward to see how you expand upon that with this third release. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Jay, you want to answer that
Yeah,
or?
sure, sure. So, is this in particular to Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead, the coming album?
Can you speak up a bit
Yeah,
more? Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, is that better? Hope this
Yes,
mic
that's better.
Yes.
sustains though. That's it.
Yeah.
That's better. Yes.
Okay. So for Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead, I think we already have how many tracks was that? Do we have now, Steven? Like three or
Five.
three tracks?
Around five.
Like five tracks. Yep. So for Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead, um, you know, at first when I'm actually making some riffs, there are times like when you just play guitar and you hear something come out, you know, my prep is that I don't listen to metal when I compose riffs, and
There
if you
you
would
go.
believe that, yeah. So what I listen to is the Isley Brothers, like
Okay.
on those three riffs,
Yeah.
on those three songs that are down. I've been listening to like random stuff, really, like Merzbow, noise,
Mm-hmm.
harsh noise, the Isley Brothers, the Allman Brothers as well. And when I do the riffing, it still goes out as something that is really sludgy
Yeah.
on the ground. It's really grounded on sludge, but it still builds up on a fast-paced groove,
Right.
and somehow it, the signature Sagrado sound still incorporates and it still fuses. So
Okay.
after that, when you sleep and the next day you listen to it and you're gonna say, "Fuck, man, this is awesome." So yep,
Yeah.
that is
Right on.
that's the joys of making an album, and of course with this guys, Jin, Steven, Adrian, and Kier as well, who's not here right now, can make it. These guys are awesome musicians, and
They are. I don't know
yep,
where your drummer learned how to play, but he's absolutely insane.
yep,
So that
it's a sick
double bass
bass.
just that double bass is just that was probably some of the most incredible drumming I've heard. And he's such a young guy, like he doesn't look that old at all. What is he in his
Yep.
early 20s?
How
Yeah,
old
I think so.
is Kier? 26 or
Around 20 above.
Yeah, like
yeah.
20
that's
years of age.
He
wow.
gives a
We need
he
to
gives
give
a
him a
lot of
lot of
the
barbecues.
he gives a lot of the experienced drummers out there well-known names a run for their money, Chris.
Yeah, he does. He really does, man. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna move on here. This has been a lot of fun. Now there seems to be a lot of disarray over there in the scene right now, as Gail and I were talking about. And I want Gail to kind of touch on this after you guys do. How have you been able to deal with that disarray that we were talking about and still manage to have some success? And I mean that disarray in the metal scene is causing a lot of problems for the especially the death metal scene, as you guys were saying. So I mean, what is the main motivating factor that keeps you from falling underneath that disarray? Like what has kept you guys going for so long?
So yeah, for that answer, yeah, because Audrey is contacting me. The bassist, he's on his way right now.
Okay.
Is I think he's gonna
He
come
just got
by here
out.
in
He
my.
just got out from work. I think though.
Okay, that's fine.
So going back to the question, I think the listeners who is giving me or giving us the motivation to create more music, because as I have observed way back before when we start, a little, you know s- we also handle events because before it's hard to play because there are such a few events to gig.
Right, right.
So we
Oh, over,
my go
over
ahead.
over there in the Philippines, it's more commercial. So it's like they're struggling between the commercial and the metal scene, and like everyone wants the commercial scene to grow more than the metal for some reason. Am I
That's
right,
true.
Steven?
That's true, bro.
And so what they got to do, and the funny thing is, they got a real big following. You know, for their style of music they're doing, they got a big following, Chris.
Right,
Believe,
right.
believe it or not, I mean, I think Sangrado is like, from what I've heard out of all the Philippines, they're one of the top bands. That's the reason why I went with Steven. And I'm like,
Right.
come join.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few groups you already know that I'll take. You know, the problem is over there, it's everyone wants to make money. They're not doing it for the love. They're doing it for the greed. And I'll say that straight up. They're all wrong because music is not about money, man.
No, it's
It's
not.
it's about love.
Indeed.
And the thing is, these guys got love for the music. So
That's good.
and they got a following that got love for the style of music.
Right.
And the other thing they got to do is unite all of them and
Exactly.
start going to city hall and over there start. Hey, we would like more of our music to be played, in events and stuff like that. Start bringing the demand
Yes.
for it.
And if you want my help doing that, just let me know, guys. Like any way I can help with
Oh,
my
sure.
YouTube channel. It's okay, Jen. You're sick, bro. Don't worry about it. Just ask for my help. Whatever you need me to do with the channel, and promote whatever you want in Music of Destruction, and I'll help you guys any way I can. And I really want a fucking shirt from you guys too, so I can start wearing it when I do videos.
Yeah.
Of
I'm
course, yeah.
gonna buy your last record because I did enjoy that one, and I'm gonna be buying. Now, I'll have to figure out where I can get a copy of that.
Oh,
But
ask Steven. They'll, they'll,
yeah,
they'll probably hook you up.
okay.
Yeah, bro.
And what now? One thing I want to note here is the production on that record, and this is not a critique at you guys. It sounded way too clean. Like in my experience with brutal death metal, if it sounds dirty, it has a more vicious tonality to it. Like if you look at bands like Broadquin, Nile, Skinless, Hate Eternal, Vital Remains, they had a raw production to them. And that, to me, that made the riffs sound a lot more evil, made it sound a
Hmm.
lot more disgusting, which is what you're going for with brutal death metal. So how satisfied were you with the production on Bastardized by the Decrepit Whorebeast? And do you feel that a raw sound would create more of an atmosphere with your music, guys? I mean, is that a fair thing to say?
Well, that is the one that we're kind of debating all about here in our group in Sagrado
Right.
because we need to balance those type of qualities. So
Okay.
to be honest, I think there are new bands have those same production.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
in my opinion, Steven, I'm not cutting you off. It
yeah,
what happens when a band opts for the same production all the time? The bands lose their identity, right? Because you've got so many bands that sound exactly the same because
right.
they're going to the same studio, they're getting the same production, they're getting the same sound. And with all the talent that you guys have, I think that a production that was unique would make Sagrado stand out a lot more, which, in my opinion, would be a strength for you guys, because in a time when death metal is becoming so saturated, for you guys to create something that stands out, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that would really help you guys get more notice.
Oh,
Well, I
hold
think
on, Chris.
this will be
Go
happening.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Hi.
whoever's making all that noise, like, do me a favor, mute it because he's gonna have a lot of problems with production.
Yeah, that's Kier's feed that has all the noise.
Oh, Gary's here.
Yes, he is.
Oh, there's Kier. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he the drummer?
Care. Yeah, he is
What's
the
up,
drummer.
brother?
He is
Okay.
our new drummer from
What's up?
Sagrado.
Okay. So
What's
he's
up?
the one that played on the Bastardized by the Decrepit Whorebeast album, yes?
To be honest, that is our first drummer,
Just
and
mix.
yeah, he just what do you call it, take over to play from our tours.
Okay, but
Which
Kier's the one that was in the music video that Gale and I made, yes?
yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome, Kier. It's great to have you here for the interview. Um,
Thanks.
yes, your drumming is fucking ridiculous. I don't know who you learned from, but how old are you? Like 25?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just turned 25.
Wow. You're one of the most amazing drummers I've ever heard, just so you know. Like, you're up there with greats like David McGraw, Gene Hoglan, George Colias from Nile. I mean, I don't know
Nile.
where you
Yep.
learned. man, you definitely have been practicing that.
Yeah. Um, I guess Stephen can attest how my learning process has been because I actually have an electronic drum set just in front of my bed. So every
Right.
time I wake up, I practice and practice.
Now, where did you learn the double bass? Because your double bass is very fucking fast. Now, what were some of the things that you did to get that good at double bass? Because that, I don't know how the hell that doesn't sound human half the
Yeah. Actually, it's just um things that I saw. Especially one of my references was Dave McGraw of Cattle
cattle
Decapitation.
decapitation. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Awesome.
The technique he was doing was one of my inspirations. He's doing doubles in the bass drum,
Yeah.
and lots of triggering stuff happening. So I tried searching across the internet, and the term monkey see, monkey does, or monkey do. That's
Yeah.
actually what I did,
Yeah.
and yeah, basically
Well,
that's it.
you're very talented. All of you guys are extremely talented. And
Thank you.
one thing that would be cool for me is seeing you guys. It would. Well, you know what? I'm eventually going to get them on the channel. I'm going to talk to Travis and Josh Elmore, and I'm going to get them here. And maybe I could put them in touch with Gale and see what they think of touring with
Oh,
them.
that's cool, bro.
See if we can
Absolutely
make it happen.
wonderful.
Yeah, man, for sure. They're actually my favorite death metal band of modern, like modern wise. They're my favorite for sure. So much talent there, just a great band, and I like their ideology and everything too. All right, so Sagrado is brutal death metal. What made you guys decide to create this kind of music, and where does that inspiration come from?
The inspiration comes from what is really happening here in the Philippines, because you know uh, like those crimes happening, murders, and other real news. And also I'm inspired of creating like writing sounds or lyrics from what is happening, like in the World War I up to the second, and from the outer space, the Big Bang Theory or so. So it
Hmm.
depends on my mood when I write the lyrics. But of course, you cannot hear the lyrics because it's guttural. So
Right.
as far on this third album, I will be as much as possible that I will be heard, or so that you will understand on the words that I'm going to say.
Right. And okay, so where does the inspiration for the perversion in the lyrics come from? Because there's a lot of perversion in your lyrics,
Yeah, that's right.
a lot of themes about rape and bukkakis and sexual violence and stuff like that. Where does that come from, Stephen, as a lyricist? Where does that come from?
We collaborated before with my drummer when it comes to the lyrics. So
Okay.
when it comes to perversion, I guess he is really a perverted one. That's why I was influenced. So
Okay.
whenever we had a show, well, I don't want to mention, he has this ritual that he needs to watch porn. You know,
Okay.
so I think put that some kind of seriousness into the lyrics. But
Okay.
deep in my mind, that comes in my mind that if everything is so legal, I can put that into my mind and put that into lyrics. And sometimes I try to write when I have a nightmare.
Cool.
So, so because if you dream about a nightmare, sometimes you forget about it, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
So I try to enhance my memorization skills. So if I remember those, I try to pull up my notepad or my cell phone, and then I can put some of the words there.
Awesome. That's wicked, man. Yeah, I'm really excited for your upcoming record. Now, how have you guys been able to build from knowing that there's so much competition rather than camaraderie in the metal scene in the Philippines? How have you been able to build from that?
So regarding the competition, I mean, it's actually tough. Well, there's that. There's always that here in the Philippines. Every band wants to be better than the other. But as for Sagrado, which has been there for quite some time now, I think that
Yeah.
for me and Steven and the others, what we want is just to make a record and get it out there. Simple as that, without thinking of any of that, any competitions or whatsoever, because that album is the culmination of all of your struggles, all of your
Right.
efforts, right? So
Right.
if you got it out there, it's self-explanatory. Whatever it sounds, it might have uh, you might have a lot of people that wouldn't like it.
Right.
That's given. But I mean, who gives the fuck, right? You created your music, so might as well be proud of it yourself. It's a
Mhm.
gem that you could consider.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
So the basis is
Oh,
here.
there he is. Holy shit.
Oh, Duran, what's up, Duran?
That's why the
What's
dogs are
up?
barking.
That's why the dogs are barking. Okay. Okay. Well, hello,
Finally.
Dran. Nice to meet you.
What's
Nice.
going on,
Hello
man?
out there.
This is great. We
Well,
got all
good.
of you guys here, man. This is the first time I've ever had everybody on the same Zoom broadcast for an interview. So some of them have all had to been done separate. So this is. Oh no, I had the pissing razors on all at once too.
Yeah,
So
that's the Pissing Razors interview. I saw that.
yeah, we had all them on. Yeah, this is only the second time that I've had everybody on at once. When I did Possessed on my old channel, it was Jeff first, and then Jeff and Daniel, and then Emilio, Robert, and Claudius. So
Yeah.
they're going to be coming back too. So don't worry. All right. Well, welcome to Dran as well. So we're just shooting the shit here. I'm just asking you guys some questions. Um, so can you guys tell everyone some of the gear that you all use? Some of your like guitar gear, your amps, your pedals, things like that. There we
Like,
go.
what's the guitar you're using? Cables or stuff?
Yes, I'm using a Dean MLX guitar and a Shred head effects.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Dren? What's some of the instrument or some of the gear that you use for your bass guitar?
For my bass, it's actually a custom Warlock from Japan, and then I switched the pickups to SPB quarter pound. For effects, I don't actually use any effects, but I'm still looking out for whatever that piques my interest.
Interesting. Cool. What about you, Kier?
Um,
There we go.
ca- cannot really say where to
That's a lot.
start here. Yeah. Let's start with the pedals. I'm using an actually local released longboard pedal, which is direct. It's like a combination of Axis and Trick. That's
Wow.
for the pedals. Yeah.
Right.
And for the triggers, I use Alice's DM5 as the module. And for the snare, as of now, I'm using a 10-inch pearl short fuse, which quite it's not really typical if you see other drummers use it because it's 10-inch. It's really small. For the cymbals, I'm using a local release. I'm not really sure if you heard about the brand name called Arborea.
Yep.
I think it was it's basically becoming common now, especially there are a lot of endorsers. But during shows, especially for large venues, I use the Zildjian ZBT because they're much suited for large venues. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. So for my year, I do have a Samick Torino version one. So it's one of the few early runs dating back to 2002. It's a tobacco burst. It
Wow.
doesn't really look metal at all. If you could see the pictures, right? I mean, it has a tortoise shell pickguard, but no, looks can be deceiving. It's equipped
Exactly.
with, yep, it has invaders. So yep, it's it's a total cover up. It's a metal guitar after all. So
For
it has
sure.
high output humbuckers, 16K output humbuckers. So I'm a pedal freak, so I do have a pedal board, but for some reason it's all dirt. So you have fuzz, you have OD, you have distortion. I don't have modulations, delay, and all that shit. It's just pure dirt pedals. My
Nice.
main tone is coming from. It used to come from an AMT Bolava SS30 preamp, so it's a JFET guitar. a preamp that's a boost and a dirt in one. But right now, what I'm using and what I'm gonna use for this album mainly, like if we have shows, is um, it's from Emma Electronics. It's a Yawat pedal. Not sure if you heard of it or came
Oh yeah.
across.
Yep.
It's a sick pedal. I mean, the knobs are really sensitive, and the mids really cut through the mix. So when I do live gigs, what I do is fuse my distortion with the fuzz pedal,
Very.
as it adds some grit, right? So
Yeah.
it fills in the gaps. So I had to boost it with an OD first. So any random OD, actually, a Moskai Demon would be great. I might consider getting that one weeks forward.
Awesome.
So yeah. So on the Amazon venues, it's a struggle here in the Philippines. So you might have a gig scheduled. You're really excited about the gig, and by the time that you arrive at the venue, you're going to be seeing a 50 water. I mean, a solid state 50 water that doesn't sound quite right. I mean, it has been busted, you know, with all the ground sounds and all. But what
Yeah.
I look for is an effects loop. If that happens, so you gotta make things work. And what I do is feed those dirt pedals on the send and returns output ports,
Right.
and you can get a pretty decent tone if you plug it in on the effects loop. So
All right, guys. Now we're gonna cut to some live footage here of Sagrado. This was the most recent concert they just played when Gale went down there to sign them. So enjoy, and we will be right back.
Let's go, crazy!
All right, we are back here on Music of Destruction. I'm with Sagrado and Gale from Shadows of Death Records. Hope you guys enjoyed that live footage. Make sure you check out their most recent record, Bastardized by the Decrepit Horror Beast. Abysmal Slaughter of the Dead is going to be released in 2020 on Shadows of Death Records. And we've been talking about that as well as their experience in the Philippines and lots of different stuff that's been going on there. And now I want to ask Gale a question here. Now, when you went over to the Philippines, there were some problems with a few of the bands that you were trying to get signed, and I know you wanted to talk about that to kind of clear up some misconceptions about you and the label. So, do you want to take us through some of the stuff, the adversities that you faced? You arrived in the Philippines trying to get some not only Sagrado signed, but a few other bands you were looking at.
Oh well, I kind of already got through it.
Right.
Um, just a lot of BS that happened over there.
Right.
What can I say? Some people get butt hurt when they get caught in a lie.
Okay.
That's what basically that's what happened. They got caught in a lie. They didn't do what they were told. They didn't get a contract. Then they started gossiping. What can I say?
Yeah.
I've already overcame it. If anybody wishes to believe it, then you know what? That's fine. They can believe it. They don't have to be on my label. Because
Very
everything I've done so far for these guys, they can tell you right now that they got their music on 2 radio stations in the United States now. They're being in. They got one in Spain on a magazine. Now they're in Mexico and an actual interview in Colombia. So I
wow.
mean, this is for them. For Sagrado, I think they've reached more doors this way with different countries than with the previous labels. But they can answer that themselves.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask them, what has your experience been like working with someone like Gale from Shadows of Death Records? And you guys can all chime in individually and answer that if you want. You're all muted except for Jay right now. I had to mute Kier because there was background noise.
Sure. So far, it has been a totally awesome experience. This involved a lot of brainstorming. So when Gail came here, we haven't really gotten a chance to maximize the time since on the first gig, with Sagrado, the first live show that Gail attended, I was not there. I mean, I was stuck with work and all that shit, scheduling and all. But on the second time at which we decide to have a meeting, and we're focusing mainly on fixing the tracks for the newer album. I mean, Gail was there personally, man. We do have a video. Think that'll be for the first song in the works. Like it'll be for, I'm not sure of the title. Think it's My Mercy Prevails Over My Wrath. Gail was there personally on the video. I mean, to find someone that is that hands-on, I mean, on the field, you you could never really ask for more. Hands down to Gail and all that. Shadows of Death Records.
Yeah, he seems to be a really hands-on guy.
Yeah,
He even likes to
I mean,
criticize.
coming here, right, in the
Yeah,
Philippines.
yeah, yeah. He's a very hands-on guy. What about you, Stephen and Dram? You guys are muted.
Guys,
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. There
There
we
we go.
go.
There we go. Actually, our schedule got a lot more busier since Gil took us in. So that's a good thing for us since we're getting more exposure this way. And plus, as he mentioned already, um, we've been getting more exposures outside of the country as well. So that's really a good thing, and it keeps us motivated as well.
Awesome. How about you, Jin? I'm gonna have to unmute. There we go. Go ahead.
That was a good man, and I'm looking forward for more years to work with him.
Okay. Awesome. What about you, Kier? I have to unmute you. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's actually my first time working with a foreign production since the last record I wasn't really involved with that one, but I do feel that this would be a very good introduction for Sagrado, especially in the international scene, and I hope
Cool.
this would work well across the fans, the production, and the band as well.
Awesome. Right on, man. Sounds great, man. Now, another question I had for you guys is, how did you all meet? Anyone can answer that. How did you guys all meet each other?
Okay. So who's gonna answer
go
that?
Steven.
All
It's
right.
you.
It's
All
you.
right. So yeah, first and foremost, I'm the third vocalist. And I'm gonna give you like a short summary of what
Go ahead.
happened.
Go ahead, man. That's what this is. This is for you guys, man. This is for you guys. So go ahead. Shoot the shit, whatever. Talk about whatever, man. This is good. Tell
All
us
right.
how you all met and why there were so many. Actually, the next question I had was lineup changes, but we'll get to that. And if you want to cover that now, that's fine. Because I was going to ask about lineup changes, but go ahead, Stephen.
Well, to get started, back in the day, right around 2009, I was so amazed in this group, Sagrado, because they have all the gears and they're dedicated. When I saw them first to the rehearsal studio,
Sounds good.
I was so shocked because the drummer has a lot of gears
Right.
and Jin are very aggressive, and the other guitarist, his name is Kiko, and the bassist before name's Jeff.
Okay.
And apparently, the first vocalist was removed. I think some sort of personal issues about work or job. Because
Right.
if you have a band here in the Philippines, you're not gonna get paid easily.
No.
So I think you need to continue the passion. At the same time, you need to work your ass off, like finding a job. And when I saw them first, I was so amazed because back in the day, I was not into brutal death metal. I was in the hardcore influence before,
Right.
hardcore metalcore.
Okay.
And fast forward when they give me a shot because there will be nobody who gonna be taking place into the gig because the second vocalist is not, what do you call that, available because of work as well.
Okay.
And that's the time I dig a lot of stuff like listening to brutal death metal like Brodequin, Disgorge, and Devourment, which is
Brodequin's
from your city, and Prophecy.
yeah.
So I tried to adapt those culture, and I'm so thankful to that because they give me a shot. And when regards to band changes, we are used to that because I know there's a lot of personal and schedule from work.
Hmm.
So continuing to the storyline, we Dren and I were bandmates before in my first hardcore or post-hardcore band,
Cool.
and after that, when the original drummer is not, contacting us for 2 years, that's the time I tried to reach with Kier because he has his own original band before,
Okay.
and I think I saw a lot of future in Kier because he's a fast learner. He practiced all the time. I saw a lot of potential
Yeah.
because, like what he said, when every time he wakes up in the morning, he always used the drum set and everything.
Yeah.
And we have one event that it's supposed to be our event dedicated to us because of the second album release. Apparently, the original drummer is still not contacting us, which is a lot of struggle. We tried to, Jin and I are trying to think, how about we use an electronic drum set like Brodikin does?
Ah, that one thing.
Yeah. But as far as we know, we are not used to it. So we tried to reach Care, and we are also we appreciate Care because he tried to study the songs as fast as he can, at least 3 songs, at least we can play because the show must go on, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And fast forward 2018, we have one gig that Jin is not available because of his schedule change job. So I tried to reach Jay because I saw his cover from Sagrado, which is Ominous Secretion to Execution,
Right.
which the favorite one. And I was so amazed because Jin did not taught the guitar tutorial, but he was able to learn it, and he sent me a video. And when the gig already arrived, we tried to rehearse before the gig, and it went well.
That's
Fine
great.
with me.
And that's the 5 members of the current one has formed.
Wow.
You got to remember now, they're talented musicians. I
Yeah.
mean, if you get the right chemistry, the right lineup, you won't have a problem with any shows.
No.
I've been doing this for 30 years, so I can tell you straight up, they got what it takes to succeed, unlike other groups. I mean, number one, they're more professional. I don't have as much problems getting stuff done with them,
Good.
so that makes my life a little bit easier because I
Very
can name a bunch of different bands that became little rock stars from being with me on the label that give me hell. You know who they are, Chris.
Yes, I do.
I won't name drop them.
No, we don't need to name drop. That's not what we're here
No
for.
need.
We're here to talk about these crazy bastards in Sagrado. So
But that's one thing I like about them, Side of Luna, you know,
Ooh,
and
they're
and
already
Luna.
here.
they're another good band. You know, I mean, they're very professional as well. So I mean, you'll get to hear some of their music soon. You know, I'm
yeah,
hoping.
I want to get them on the channel too, of course.
Yeah,
But
Steven recommended them actually.
wicked. That's wicked, man. Wow.
Yeah, Steven's like my little recruiter in the Philippines.
Right. Now, was Stephen the first one that you got in contact with for Sagrado, Gale?
Uh, actually, Steven contacted me. Am I right?
Yeah, because when I saw the poster or your event, so my intention is just to watch the show,
And I
and
invited him.
yeah,
Nice.
he invited him, and then he
And then there
educated
was
me in
drama.
some stuff. So,
And
oh
there
my
was
god,
drama to that invite, you know. But I mean, me
'Cause-
and Steven, look, from day one, we've been talking about the industry, what their labels should have did in the previous labels,
Right.
but they never did, you know. So right off the bat, Steven already knew that he wanted to come here because he knew that he would get farther than what he was
Right.
with the other labels. I mean, because they're just sitting there in the Philippines and they're on YouTube. I mean, let's be honest. Well, where's the interviews? Where's getting expanded everywhere else? You know what I mean? And that's what they lack, the
Yeah.
promotion base. But
Thanks for that, Stephen.
yeah,
Did you
The
heard
fuck
that?
was
I already
that?
removed the headphones.
No, you forgot the
No, I
mic.
heard
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I don't give a shit, man.
That's my guttural from the beer.
This is a metal.
but
This is a metal interview. This isn't a fucking country music interview. We're not
you
trying to get
know,
on America's Got Talent here, guys. But anyway, yeah.
look. Like I said, they're very professional band. You know, and
Right,
you know,
right after that burp, you segue into they're a very professional band. That's gonna be
well, they
awesome.
are. They're beer
That's the
drinkers, man.
turnaround right there.
Yeah,
They're beer drinkers. You know,
yeah,
hell, they'll get along great with Bernie.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
You
need
got
to
Tiger
need
here.
to need to invite them
No
down to
plugs.
Colombia.
I
You go
have
drink with
coffee.
them.
I got
I
No,
coffee.
mean,
bro,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
early in
drinking
the
coffee.
morning and we are drinking beers. This is our breakfast.
hey man, you should have seen Steven on I think it was on a YouTube, doing where they were drunk off their ass.
Yeah,
Oh
And
not
shit!
only drunk. Yeah,
oh,
not only drunk.
Steven, you got him right there singing rap on Facebook. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well,
Was
yeah,
that
I
the
listen to
interview?
different kinds of music.
Were
So,
you on some other substances that night too, Steven, or was it just alcohol?
uh,
I,
well,
I
you can
think
say that, bro. You can say
I,
that.
I think someone walked over there and dropped some mushrooms in their drink. No,
That's what I'm saying. That's
Good
what
shit.
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
this is great. So who are some of your influences, guys? We know you make brutal death metal, but what are some of the bands that influenced you guys growing up, both listening to growing up and influenced you to make death metal?
Jin, you'll be the one going to answer that first.
Yo, OG, the real OG.
Yeah.
OG. OG.
I'm trying to unmute him again. There we go. Go ahead, Jin.
Yes, I'm still digging up to this day to pathology and abominable putridity.
Okay. Okay. What about you? Anybody? Go ahead. Jay, do you want to?
Here, what's yeah?
Go ahead, Stephen. Whoever, anybody.
Here, what's your influence? Who's your influence?
Ooh, mine?
I got to unmute Kier. Hold on, Kier.
All right.
Oh, there's
What
Kier.
band? Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much started at a very young age. Way back when I was still in third grade, um, my family members used to blast off Limp Bizkit, um, Metallica. So I just followed that until I arrived to some point that I was listening to bands like, um, Cattle Decapitation, Nile, all drummers that are really fast. Those were my benchmarks. So yeah,
Oh yes.
until I didn't actually thought that I would reach that level. Especially here in Asia, in the Philippines, I know Indonesia is becoming more and more developed in terms of this type of music, but
Yes.
I think the Philippines aren't really, coming behind. I think we're really
Old school.
capable of doing
Yeah.
that. We just need opportunity and we need practice, a lot of practice. Because the way the scene right now is going on, practice isn't really becoming a priority. It's pretty much publicity that is becoming their priority right now. Like selling merch, promoting stuff, but they're not actually improving the way their music is going. So that's
Right.
basically what I can say in the scene here in the Philippines.
Okay. What about you, Stephen and Dram? Influences.
Dren, your influence for basing.
Actually, my influence for basses are it's not actually funneled into metal, but more on. I used to listen to Mudvayne back when I was in like elementary, so I really like Ryan Martinez playing. So it's really different from what is common to
Brutal.
their genre. And then there's this one other band called Burania. So I really like that the basis on that band because it's really technical. So I really want to get to his level. For older musicians, what I could say would be like Cliff Burton
Rest in
and
peace.
Cliff Burton, rest in peace. Yeah.
hell yeah, I listen to Flea as well. So he's really old right now. So, but still, his playing influence what my playing has been into.
Mhm. What about you, Jay? I got to unmute you. Hold on.
Sabi na ako.
Okay, there. So pretty much bands that got me into metal, brutal death metal. To name names, we have Decapitated, Tory, fucking Mortician, of course,
Mortician is
and
killer, man.
Rodican, yep,
Brodican killer.
and
Yeah.
Cephalic Carnage. That is where this bunch
Holy
came from.
wow! I haven't heard anyone mention them for a while. That's great. Yeah, they're
Yep.
cute.
So they do a sludge and brutal death metal fused in. It's a
Yeah,
motherfucking salsa. You know, it goes and goes. It goes and goes. It's an awesome band.
they are.
So for guitars, I mainly play blues. So gotta give it to Jimi Hendrix, SRV, BB King the Great, rest in peace.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know,
Oh
Steven's influence is Frank Sinatra. You know that, right?
no, Steven,
My
go ahead.
yeah. So I listen to different kinds of
Yeah,
music because if you're just focusing to brutal death, your bird brain's gonna focus on that kind of you know sound. So of course from the hip hop scene, the first is NWA.
Oh,
Right on.
Yeah,
One of the
bro.
greatest rap groups in history, man.
Of
Damn
course,
straight.
yeah. I
Hell,
even named my son as Easy, and my last name is Espiritu, right?
there
So
you
I
go.
tried to combine it, Easy E,
Yeah.
and
Easy Spirit.
and second is Tupac,
Mhm.
Right on.
because he drops a lot of creative lyrics, especially when dissing to somebody.
Yeah.
So going back to metal scene, from the older guys or the pioneers, um, Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse,
And now 6 feet
and
under. Yep.
right, Also, I don't know, Wayne Nook. He is like a substitute for debarment. Sometimes I saw him. He already passed away. Rest in peace. And continuing with debarment's Mike Bajewski.
Okay.
And from Disgorge, that will be AJ.
Okay.
And also from Dying Fetus. Yeah, I tried to collab as much as possible with that kind of thing.
Right. Right on.
And there is just one band before. Its name is Cerebral Bore.
Oh,
The girl is very amazing. So yeah, that's about it.
Right on. All right. Well, I want to thank Sagrado for being here, along with Gale from Shadows of Death Records tonight here on Music of Destruction. It was a great time to have you guys here tonight. Was there anything?
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man. You guys are welcome back after the new album drops. Abysmal
yeah.
Slaughter of the Dead is coming out on Shadows of Death Records this year. So, guys, keep a fucking eye out for that. It's going to be a great record. I can't wait to check it out. And you guys are welcome back anytime. I want to follow up with you guys once you put out the new album. Once you've toured it for a while, I want to bring you back and ask you about your experience in support of the new record. So, definitely. Gail, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, man. I mean, just keep an eye out on their album. Burning's going to be coming out with an album this year as well.
Okay.
And Slave Pit and
Yeah.
Sagrado. Also, let's see, Side of Luna. They're going to be coming out. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to theirs. We got another group from the Philippines that's coming out, but they're kind of slacking on everything I've requested. So I'm not going to mention their name.
Okay.
But they know who they are.
All right. Well, I want to thank Sagrado once again. This was a great honor, guys. I loved having you. You're all awesome fucking guys. Make sure you check out their most recent release, Bastardized by the Decrepit Horbies, on
Check out
Pathological.
the video. The video.
Oh, yeah. The video.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Ominous Secretion through Methods of Execution, is it called?
Yeah, just ominous execution to execution.
Through execution. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gail
yeah.
and I actually worked on that together, so that was quite fun.
Yeah, we love that, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Looks sick.
actually what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do for you guys. Once I got some spare time coming up, I'm gonna make an even better one. I'm going to take all the audio and I'm gonna sync everything up, and I'm gonna show that off to some people because I've had some critiques on it. People were like, "Well, couldn't you sync up the audio?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And I figured out how I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna cut another one for you guys too. Definitely.
It's all right, bro. Got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. Everybody out there on YouTube, have a great night. We will see you guys in the next one.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Gail and Chris. Cheers.
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 Well, should have alcohol here.